I may have been 8 to 9 years old. I lived in a nice little middle-class neighborhood. One of my best friends, Raven, lived across the street diagonally, one house down. So I often spent evenings at her house after school. Raven's mom would always call my mom to let her know I was leaving and to expect me in the next minute or so. This way, my mom knew to unlock our front door. Often she stood and watched from the screen door to make sure I got across okay. I had begun noticing this beat-up red car that would pass by almost every night as I ran back across the street. I would always head home just after dark, so possibly around 8:30, anytime I was leaving Raven's house. It was always rolling super slow. Speed limit was 25 miles per hour, and I want to say this vehicle always passed at maybe half that. One night, as I was leaving, perhaps a bit later than usual, I stepped out of the side door of Raven's house just as the car was about to pass the house completely. It stopped in the road and backed up as I approached the side of the road. The window rolled down just as the car stopped in front of me. A little woman with short reddish-brown hair and blue-framed glasses was smiling sweetly at me. "Hi, sweetheart. It's a little late for you to be out right now, isn't it?" she asked. Her voice was low and pleasant.
"No, Mom lets me. I'm just walking home,"
I replied stupidly.
"Oh gosh, how silly of your mom. There's all kinds of bad people out late at night. Where do you live, sugar? I'll give you a ride."
Just then, my mom came bursting out of our front door and screamed, "Leave her alone," as she began running to me. The woman's pleasant demeanor dropped and I heard her mutter a word as she slammed her foot on the gas and took off at well over the speed limit. She didn't stop at the nearby stop sign, just blasted through it to make her escape. I got a nice lecture that night, but also a lot of tight hugs. My mom was super glad that she chose to look out the storm door to check out on me, instead of just letting me wander home. I could have been taken, and she told me as much. I cannot remember if the police were called, but I never interacted with any officers. This doesn't end here though. Like most little kids, I really liked setting up lemonade stands. Unlike most little kids, I also enjoyed hand making and baking cakes and brownies and cookies, and also selling those at my lemonade stand. About 2 weeks after the prior incident, a beautiful sunny Saturday, my mom helped me with the baking and helped me make lemonade and set me up in the front yard with my sign. She had been paranoid ever since the prior incident and had hardly let me out of her sight aside from school and the bus, and this was no different. She stayed outside with me all while I sold my little treats to passerbys. Until she had to run to the restroom. It would obviously be a pain to take everything down and bring it inside while she went, and then to bring it all back out and set it up again. She figured I'd be okay for a few minutes, considering it was the middle of the afternoon, and usually predators aren't that stupid. My mom left me alone for several minutes while she went to the bathroom and presumably went to grab a snack as she was gone for 10 minutes or so. A familiar face walked up about 8 minutes in. She appeared from around some bushes down the street. I didn't see her well in the distance walking up. I honestly saw her stand up from behind some bushes and brush herself off and begin walking towards me. Her clothes were smart and sophisticated looking, almost like a pantsuit. It was a real clash with how ratty her car had been, but that same smile was on her face, and her eyes glinted behind the same glasses. Aw, cute. A lemonade stand. Hi again, sweetie. Sorry for bothering you the other night. I didn't realize how close to home you were. Mama told me to not talk to you. Go away. I said it as meanly as I could. But my mom had rightfully made me so frightened of this woman that I'm sure I just sounded like the scared little girl I was. Come on now, Mary. She spoke my real name first and last, and my eyes got big. I'm a friend of your parents. I live down the street, remember? We met at the pool this past summer. I had no recollection of her. If you're their friend, why did you leave so quickly? Mom! I began shouting for my mother. This made her crouch down in front of my table, eye to eye with me. Oh, we don't need to do that. I just want to talk to you. You like to bake, right? I have a really fancy kitchen with a nice baker's oven. All sorts of cool gadgets to make baking cupcakes and stuff like this super duper fun. No, no, no! I stood up and pushed the table into this woman and started running for the front door. This woman kicked the folding table away and started to chase me until my mom appeared in the doorway. She flung the door open and I barreled into her, and the woman stopped running and stood in the yard. What are you doing with my daughter? My mom shouted. My God, your child is rude. I was just trying to buy a cupcake and she shoved the table into me and ran. Now I have lemonade all over my clothes. That woman lied through her teeth. I don't think she was expecting my mom to come back. That's the lady from that night in the car. I was now trying to get around my mom and hide behind her. My mom pulled out her cell phone and this time I know she called the police. The woman immediately ran off back the direction she came from. The cops appeared. One took statements while the other one patrolled the neighborhood searching for her. They ended up finding her car parked at the grocery store that was up the road about half a mile at the other end of the neighborhood. They waited for her to show up and claim it, but she never did. They couldn't find her, and I never saw her again.